Should we just jump in? We've never done
Hey,
actual
everybody.
video before. Hi, welcome
Welcome.
to the Morbid Museum. I'm Katie Mead.
I'm Luke Boyd. Welcome to our special video segment on The Crown.
You are the lucky few who decided to subscribe. You get to see us in all our glory. Me sweating in my bedroom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, so Luke and I decided that we love talking about stuff that we've watched recently. We love hot takes on true crime and historical shows. And if there's one show above all others that Luke and I have been obsessed with together through the years, it is absolutely The Crown.
Definitely. 1,000%.
I've texted you through entire episodes of The Crown. We talked about it, I think, in the London Stinks episode when
we did
with the smog, where I was like, did you know about this?
A railway has crashed on its route across the bridge.
Yes,
Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm. So
because this season had so many connections to the Morbid Museum content that we had discussed, specifically your episode on the death of the Romanovs, we have to talk about it.
Yes, and it's so cool that we noticed we have the website that basically puts our podcast out into the world. It tracks our episodes and lets us know our numbers on any given day or week. And the weeks since the Crown Ipatiev House episode came out, our listens for the Romanov episode, beyond doubled. Like, it was the most popular episode for like a few weeks because it had, I guess, just really sparked some curiosity in people who perhaps really didn't know the story that well at all. So I was so thrilled that people were able to get our deep dive on that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we got there first. I mean, they made the episode before we did.
Yeah, fuck you, Peter Morgan.
But, you know, it's really cool when we're doing something topical and to see our work in conversation with the mass mediated work.
Yes. So the biggest thing that I got out of this episode, the biggest new piece of information, was that apparently King George walked around with a fucking parrot on his shoulder all the time.
That was so cute.
Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know that, but that makes a lot of sense. Like the Victorians and the conservatories and the birds of prey. They all had greenhouses.
I did Google it, and it was not a blue and gold macaw. Because I was like, how the fuck is he just getting through his day with a fucking macaw on his shoulder? But it was an African gray, which I could get why he'd want one, because they're like the most talkative and the like really, really intelligent. But apparently that thing lived for like decades and decades. It outlived him. I know I'm going to do a whole side story just on the life of this parrot.
That's great. I thought that detail was really cool, and it wasn't unbelievable to me. Like,
no, not at all. Because why would you put it in if it wasn't clearly real?
Yeah.
You know? It's like way too silly and random. But yeah. So the thing that was so crazy about this episode was the angles that it took. It decided to kind of blame the Queen.
Yeah.
George's wife.
Yeah.
Like, as if she actually had any say in this at all. It's such a fucking weird take.
Yeah, it's interesting. Can we pause and talk about the actual depiction of the killing of the Romanovs for a second?
We will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this was one of the grisliest, toughest ones I had come across in terms of, like, you know, their actual death.
So funny, because I watched it and was like, it was pretty mild.
I mean, I guess I haven't seen that many depictions, but I was like, they went there.
It's not even the depictions. It's that I've read so many accounts I had to for the episode that, you know, there are things that I left out in our episode. Like, literally, some of the descriptions are the soldiers were walking through gore and brain and blood, like just trying to get the bodies up, like slipping and sliding on the floor. Like, the scene is grisly in a way that you would never actually want to portray it on television. or in film.
Yes, that's what I agree. It was like hyper realistic, very the camera didn't pull away a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being really, really nitpicky about the death scene, first and foremost, I love that they spoke in Russian. I thought that was great because there tends to be this thing whenever anything is about Russians, they make it British people.
Yeah, or German or whoever. It's like they just make them British.
Yeah, they just they have English accents, exactly. But I guess because this is an English show, it made more sense to actually let them speak in Russian. But the cast was really bad. Nobody looked like who they actually were portraying. So that I thought that was really odd. And what was interesting and weird, and again, because it was just the agenda of the episode, is the family was being told that specifically that they were being moved for their safety because the Red Army was closing in on them. It's not like it was said, we're moving you, good news. It was more scary. Now the family was thrilled to at least be finally leaving and moving on, because they figure, okay, if we're moving on, that means we're moving further away from the conflict, from being taken into captivity. I doubt highly they had that cousin George is coming to save us. There's no fucking way they thought George was coming to save him, because George made it really goddamn clear he wasn't prior to that.
There was so much time that had passed where this was not happening. So I think
sorry, go ahead, Luke. What were you going to say?
No, so we're kind of like, we're going through this the episode, because the episode kind of starts with the death of the Romanovs, and then it kind of goes through the retelling of the story in terms of the exhumation of the Romanovs, and then getting to the end where it's the actual motivations of the royal family that are being critiqued by Philip's paramour cousin.